Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills in order to help you improve your way with words. In this episode, I'm going to be dropping part 2 of how to be more interesting. And if you haven't watched part 1, don't sweat it too much, even though I'm going to link it right on here and in the description box if you're watching from phone and laptop. And if you're watching from TV, you could just type in how to be more interesting, Armani Talks. It will be the first video that pops up. In that video, I introduced a concept known as the spider method, which is vastly different than what a lot of people use in their day-to-day lives. Unfortunately, most people are sheep, which means that they look to their left, they look to their right, and they're like, well, others are behaving like this. That means I too should be behaving like this. A sheep follows the herd. The spider does not look left and right so much. Instead, they're focusing on their own web. And this web that they're creating is allowing them to become more interesting in real time. And basically, the summary of that video ended with me saying that us as people, if we want to be more interesting, then we too need to create a web. And one of the basic ways to get started on that is to find at least 3 curiosities of yours that are very different from one another and find a way to allow them to naturally connect. You don't have to logically be like, all right, how can I make this curiosity connect with this one and this one? No. You're just naturally allowing those curiosities to be something that you pursue. And just naturally, you will notice a connection among the knowledge happening to you. And during that process of connection, you start to evolve your personality at a being level. No longer are you a sheep. Now you're a spider. So that's a summary of last video. And in this video, I'm going to be introducing another rather new concept. This is where you're going to become more interesting by being socially awkward. I'm sure that's not what you were expecting. I'm sure you've never heard of a video like this, where we're using our forms of social awkwardness in order to become more charismatic. Absolutely. This channel covers a lot of innovative insights, and if you've been following me for some time, I know you'll like the new book out by me in Amazon, which is called Wordplay, 101 short stories, essays, and insights to improve your communication skills. If you're looking to get more innovative insights like this, be sure to check out the description box right on below. Now, how is social awkwardness going to help you out in the long run? Let me tell you a little tale about this English teacher that I had in Hawaii. A couple of years back, I was turning in my statement of purpose for my master's degree. And this is basically the essay that you have to submit along with your GRE scores, your college transcripts, to see whether or not you get accepted in. I didn't want to take any risks. See, I consider myself a good writer, but in terms of grammar and all of that, I'm not the best. I don't know what a semicolon is or when to use it. I don't care about that. But my master's degree may. So I decided to hit up a few people that I know very well who understand grammar very well. And one of them was my high school professor who was extremely great in English. Let's just call him Jerry. Jerry was one of those professors that would always correct his students' grammars. And every now and then, he'd even correct the teachers' grammars. That's how seriously he took the English language. I Facebook messaged him and I'm like, Professor Jerry. And he's like, just call me Jerry. Can you proofread my statement of purpose and let me know that everything's okay? And he's like, sure, you don't have to ask me twice. So within 2 days, he read the full thing, he made some fixes, and then he gave it back to me. I was grateful. And I asked him, if he ever needs anything from me, do not hesitate to ask. And that's when I see him typing. And he writes, as a matter of fact, Armani, I do need something from you. Oh yeah? What do you need? And that's when he gave me a proposition. He said, so Armani, I'm going to go to Hawaii this weekend, and I need someone extra to go with me because, I'm going to be doing some hiking. I'm going to be going up Mount Coco Head, and, I need someone to assist me. Now, I wanted to help this guy, but I didn't have money like that. I couldn't afford a trip to Hawaii. But that's when he continues to type, and he says, here's the thing, Armani. I'm going to cover your entire trip, and every single day you're there with me, I'm going to be giving you a stipend. So you're going to be getting money for food, to travel, do all of that stuff. But you got to make sure that you're helping me up Mount Coco Head and all these different spots. This sounded like a win-win deal to me. So basically, I get to travel Hawaii and get paid for it. Where could this go wrong? So we board our flight towards Hawaii, and there's a lot of these little pit stops along the way. He's a little cheap with the airline tickets. He ain't gonna pay for no one-way ticket. So we're stopping at a lot of these random stops. And each time that we're stopping, I come to notice that he's seamlessly starting full-blown conversations with a bunch of the random people. Anytime that we're in a flight, the person next to him, he's basically talking to them the entire time. I don't know how he had the energy for this, because a lot of our flights were early in the morning and I'm just like yawning away nonstop. But he had energy to keep on starting the conversations with all these random people. Now, in addition to that, I started to notice that he was a little awkward, where he would say a lot of corny jokes and he would keep fixing these people's grammars. Because when you're picturing an interesting person, you're not expecting someone to be corny with their jokes and someone to be a grammar Nazi or anything. Yet, he was doing this and he was getting the other person to laugh. There was one moment when we were in Hawaii where we were all waiting for this car-looking thing to pick us up and take us to the resort. And as we were waiting, we're surrounded by 3 middle-aged women. And that's when he randomly just thinks of a joke and he starts saying the joke to them. Why did the bird go to the hospital? The ladies are like, I don't know, to get a treatment. These ladies start laughing like, ha ha ha, you're such a corny guy. They're saying he's corny, but the way they're laughing showed that he was memorable. He was interesting. Him correcting their grammar, once again, took them aback. Like, huh? Who's this guy correcting my grammar like that? But still, he was able to make it work. With this individual, I would say one part of him was very socially awkward, but another part of him was extremely interesting, is because he owned his awkwardness. And by owning his awkwardness, he satisfied the definition of interesting. You probably never even thought about it like that. What is the definition of interesting? At first, you're probably thinking of someone that's very posh, hair, slicked back, wearing sunglasses, kind of looks like Johnny Bravo. But take some time to define what interesting means to you. Most likely, it's going to come down to difference, a contrast. In part 1, I gave the example, if you see 4 people that's wearing a white shirt and the 5th person is wearing a purple shirt, and I ask you, who is the most interesting in this group? Just in autopilot, you're going to say purple shirt. The reason why is because this person is different. There's a contrast that's being created in the mind. So interesting simply means being different, not being a sheep. And the reason that Jerry, the professor, was capable of being extremely interesting was because his awkwardness allowed him to be the purple shirt, allowed him to be different. Now, what does this mean for you? The very first thing it means for you is that a lot of flaws that you have, you can actually use it towards a high ROI advantage. I've seen this many times where, just to give you an example, well, I already gave you an example with Jerry and his corny jokes, but a separate example in regards to someone's speech. If your voice is very different from someone else, you may get a lot of ridicule from a certain subsection of the people, but you'll also notice that there's another subsection of people who resonate with you more. They're like, this guy's just different. I don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on it, but he's just different. Do you know that serial killers have fan clubs? Isn't that weird? These are people that killed not only one person, but killed multiple people throughout their lifetimes. Why the hell would they have a fan club for? It actually sheds a stunning insight into human nature. No one can be fully loved, and no one can be fully hated. So you can consider your voice being the worst out there, but I guarantee you there's always going to be one subsection of people out there who's sort of like the fan club for the serial killer. They're like, whoa, he sounds so unique. So this video should give you a lot more of a unique paradigm towards being interesting now. Because before, you used to just be like, oh, well, I'm a socially awkward person, can't do anything about that. But nowadays, you can start approaching your social awkwardness from a renewed lens. Before saying, all right, let me just kill it off permanently, you could ask yourself questions like, can I be sort of like a Jerry? I wonder if I really need to kill off my corny jokes, because it actually allows me to build rapport so much faster with other people. I wonder if I should stop, correcting people's grammars, because yeah, one group of people hate it, but another group of people I sort of find it funny as long as I deliver it in a funny manner. So now social awkwardness is being turned into leverage. Leverage because now we're going from a room filled with white shirts into purple shirts, in a room full of sheeps into a spider. So take some time and ponder on this video. What are some of the things that normally hold you back? Is it an accent? Is it your height? Is it your fashion sense? Something that you believe makes you socially awkward? And bring creative insights as to how you can change that into leverage. Even if you don't find a certain methodology of making that leverage right now, just sit on this question. Maybe your subconscious mind will get to work and present you some answers in the near future. So that's how to be interesting part 2. Rock your social awkwardness and find creative methodologies to turn it into a weapon. If you want more practical insights like this that you are not going to find on Google or other YouTube channels, be sure to check out Wordplay. Look how big this book is. 101 short stories. You're going to get your money's worth, level up your social skills, mitigate your social anxiety, learn to speak with confidence, and take no breaks, because the prolific nature is the only way out there. Grab your copy in the description box or the pinned comment right on below. And thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel.